Hey, welcome to my channel. So I am on here today because we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield. The NFL draft just happened. I've seen like 100 videos at this point talking about, oh, we were so surprised Baker Mayfield didn't get traded. He didn't go anywhere. Maybe he's not very good. Maybe this and this and this. All right, first off, elephant, on the table here, right? Baker Mayfield didn't get traded because everyone knows in the NFL that the Cleveland Browns have to cut Baker Mayfield. They all know it. There is no question that they're going to keep him. I mean, he's due like $18 million and it's guaranteed. And they just signed, Deshaun Watson, aka Rapey Magoo, who, has his 22 sexual assaults that he's going to be paying up in civil court, which again, if you've been accused, if you're accused and you're a famous athlete and you're accused of some kind of sexual misconduct or something once, maybe even twice, maybe it's somebody that's like gunning for some money or something like that. If you're accused 22 times, first off, 22 isn't the just where it stops. All right. There's probably 50, 60 women out there, but there's just ones that either were paid off or they don't want to deal with it or they don't want any kind of publicity or something like that. Right. So there's 22 women out there who, yeah, sure. He didn't, I don't know how many people have even been like, well, they didn't, give him a court case. He's not, being charged with anything. Great. Do you know how hard it is to prove like something like that for a woman? Especially these were all like masseuses. First off, I've gotten massages. I actually love getting a massage. I've never had an in-home massage. I just go to places. But even then, if in the course of a year I went to 22 different massage parlors, there's something going on there, right? Why am I, have I not found one I like or something, So, why do you have 22 different women coming into your house to give you at-home massages? Okay. But so I was talking to a Cleveland Browns fan even at the shop recently, and it's so funny like hearing his justification for, he was like, oh, whatever, we gave up a bunch of draft picks, who cares? What is it going to be, an offensive lineman and a linebacker or something? Like, yeah, it probably will be. Like, the idea that the Cleveland Browns are a good franchise and a good team is ridiculous. Like, it is amazing how short people's memory is of the Cleveland Browns. You're talking about a team before Baker Mayfield even showed up, had won one game in 2 years? What did they win? Like 3 in a 3-year period? I mean, this is a team who, lost every game of the whole season. I mean, which is virtually impossible to do. You have to be so incompetent to lose every game. This is a team who, since Bernie Kosar, who wasn't some amazing quarterback by any means, rolled out the likes of Brady Quinn and, every other just junk quarterback. I mean, you can look up starting quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns, and there's like, in a time period, in the modern time period, there's like 30 of them. It's ridiculous. If you could huck the ball 4 yards, they pretty much gave you a shot as a starting quarterback. I could have probably tried to be a starting quarterback with them at one point if they thought I could throw the ball 20 yards on to a receiver. It's crazy to think that they are so down on Baker Mayfield and how quickly they just got rid of him. Now this Browns fan too, he was saying, oh, he's a complainer, he's a whiner, and that's a lot of the videos I keep on seeing is, oh, he's not mature, he's not thing. Look at it from Baker Mayfield's standpoint, right? You have gone in there and you have done a very good job as the quarterback. You are the face of the franchise. You have, bear hugged Cleveland and loved Cleveland. And you have gone in there and done this. You are in commercials where you're pretending that the stadium is your home and you're having yard sales, and make sure you set the code. The code is 1 and stuff. Everybody loves those commercials, right? That is Baker Mayfield. You go from that to a guy that didn't play for an entire season because they were trying to see if he would get rape charges. And all of a sudden the team is talking behind your back that they're going to sign him or trade for him. And then they do, and they give up the farm. They give up first round draft picks, and they give the guy $250 million guaranteed when they were questioning whether they were going to give you your 5th year option on your contract or, sign you past. And the whole question was, is Baker Mayfield a guy that should get $200 million or $250 million? But they're going to give it to this guy. Now, don't get me wrong, Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback when he is on the field. Other than like when he's, blowed out his knee with an ACL tear, or missing an entire season because of 22 rape allegations, right? He is, and this video is going to be 100% demonetized because I keep on saying the R word, but let's not even call it what it is, sexual misconduct or something to try to get away. Plus, what am I going to get? 14 cents? So anyways, let's, stats wise, let's talk about stats here. I wrote them down because it's going to be the easiest way. So in 4 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield went 29-30. Okay, again, he won 29 games. This is a team that in a 3-year period won like 3 games before he got there. So again, now I know year 2, of course, they signed Odell Beckham and they're sitting there talking about, are they Super Bowl champs this year and stuff? Again, it is the idiotic high expectations of everything. I live in Denver. We signed Russell Wilson. Of course, Denver Bronco fans are like, we're going to win the Super Bowl now. We're going to have a dynasty like the New England Patriots because we just signed Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's won what? 1 Super Bowl? He's a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock and some of the other ones that they've rolled out, and they're definitely going to win. They should win 10 games. They should be at least a wild card team. But let's tender the expectations here a little bit, So Baker, 29-30 as a starter, 61% completion rate, threw for 14,125 yards in 4 seasons. Okay, not bad. Again, this is a team that had the likes of Brady Quinn starting and drafted him, Johnny Manziel. Do you know how amazing Johnny Manziel would be if he had gone 29-30 and had a 61% completion rate and threw 14,000 yards in 4 seasons? Everybody, he wouldn't be the bust that he is, that they wasted on him. Baker Mayfield, 92 touchdowns, 56 interceptions. And sure, that's a lot of interceptions. It's 2-1 basically in touchdown interception rate. But again, you're talking about a guy that, Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad complaining about how he doesn't throw him the ball. It's not like the Cleveland Browns offense is some loaded offense of amazement, Sure, they got a good running game now. Their defense has always been not that great. Offensive line has always been okay, but you're not talking about a team that's been like just stacked with superstars for him to throw the ball to. 571 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns rushing. In the postseason, he went 1-1, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. All right, that's, again, you're talking about a team that could not win games in the regular season, and you're not liking a guy that because he went 1-1 in his 4 years in the playoffs, and he threw 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's not the reason you lost. Now, what's Deshaun's, career? 5 seasons, and of course, you're talking about 1 season shortened because of a knee injury, and 1 whole season because he 22 charges of rape again. So, basically like 3.5 seasons. He went 28-25 as a starter. Okay. 67% completion rate, threw 104 touchdowns, 36 picks. So more of a 3-1 touchdown to interception ratio, 14,539 yards. Now again, Baker, 14,100, so 400 yards more career-wise passing. Key, everybody knows Deshaun can run around a lot more better. 1,677 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns rushing. Now, Baker Mayfield was sacked 134 times. Deshaun Watson has been sacked 174 times. So, pretty close. Probably pretty close to the same, really, about the same type of team, honestly. Except for you got to remember, Deshaun Watson had one very magical year there in Cleveland. Or, I mean, they're in Houston, just like Baker had in Cleveland, where he had one really, really good season, where their record was, again, I remember Houston was, like, oh my gosh, Houston looks like they might win it all this year. That was that one year. His postseason, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 1-2. So he went 1-2 in the postseason, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Baker went 1-1, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. So, that's the reason Baker Mayfield hasn't gone to another team. Now, we all know this offseason was crazy, and, Marcus Mariota, Mitch Trubisky, those guys all got second chances with teams, After the draft, the Steelers did exactly what they should have done. They signed Mitch Trubisky, 2 years, $9 million a year, right? 2-year, $18 million contract. Mitch can start. If he sucks, they drafted Kenny Pickett. Maybe Kenny Pickett's ready to go in 10 games into the season or something. Maybe you throw him to the Wolves at that point. Mitch is your backup. Maybe Mitch plays well or plays very decent, and he's the starter for the whole year, and then maybe him and Pickett actually are battling it out the next season. It's a smart play. Now, what did Atlanta do? Atlanta's like gunning for the number 1 pick, or they're just threw in the towel. Let's admit it. You don't sign Marcus Mariota thinking he's going to roll in there and be a top 10 quarterback. And you definitely don't literally pay, what was it, $40 million that they're paying to let Matt Ryan leave to the Colts. Why not just keep Matt Ryan at that point? So, they threw in the towel. If they could have been like a person in the market for Baker. Now, of course, everybody's like, well, Seattle, because Seattle doesn't have a starter. Again, I don't know if Seattle cares. Drew Lock is Drew Lock. They got Geno Smith. Sure, maybe Baker goes there. And I could see Baker going there once the Cleveland Browns cut him. Nobody is going to trade anything for Baker Mayfield because Cleveland owes him $18 million. He can sit on his couch for an entire season, let his shoulder heal, just work out and everything, and then be a free agent and get a bunch of money. So why would he care to go to another team to be traded? And why is anybody going to give anything? Because Cleveland is so idiotic that they put themselves in that situation to where they got a guy that is going to be their backup at this point for $18 million while they're paying an idiot who's going to not be starting at least probably 6 games. He's going to be suspended. You can't even keep Baker to start those 6 games, because what happens if Baker goes 6-0 and has, 13 touchdowns and 2 picks in 6 games, and then you roll Deshaun Watson fresh off his suspension in, and maybe Deshaun Watson goes like, 1-3 or something? Let's say that happens. What do you do now? Now you've even screwed yourself more. So they're not going to keep him. So they're going to have to pay him $18 million to either sit on the couch, or they're going to have to cut him or do something to, he's going to get 14-15 million bucks, and then he can go be Tom Brady's backup in Tampa Bay for $1 million and just collect his $15 million dead money from Cleveland, and sit there and be $1 million backup for Tom Brady and try to, get himself a Super Bowl ring. There's a lot of teams he could go to. And again, let's not pretend also he's waiting. Jimmy Garoppolo's still, potentially a free agent also, or he is a free agent and can go somewhere else also. And Jimmy G's been to the Super Bowl and stuff. So, there's teams out there that are going to, there's going to be a Dak Prescott type injury. There's always going to be somebody that gets injured. There's going to be always somebody that just crashes and burns. He's getting paid like $18 million also is Sam Darnold. What if Sam Darnold just looks like Sam Darnold started out last year looking really good, and it was like, oh, maybe the Jets messed up letting Sam Darnold leave. Well, we saw the regular Sam Darnold once they started starting PJ Walker and people like that, Now, cool, they drafted a guy, Matt Corral, in like the 3rd round. He's not ready for the NFL. They're not going to go throwing him in unless they've just gone 2-8 or something like that. Then why not throw that guy in? You're going to cut your ties with somebody like that. and maybe even try to draft another guy. There's, let's be realistic. The Washington Redskins, or wait, what are we calling them now? The Commanders. So it's the Washington Red Commander football team skins. You know, um, the Washington Red Commander team skins are they're rolling out with idiot Magoo from the Eagles that was on Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz did pretty good actually. He stats wise looked really good. It's just a horrible playoff game, but the Colts kind of see that they are potentially a Super Bowl team, and so I get going after Matt Ryan and getting rid of Carson Wentz. And luckily, you found Washington, who, again, in the entire Daniel Snyder era has been the most idiotic team ever. Thus, their name being changed for the third time at this point. Um, you know, and you're going even with the Commanders, like, stupid name. And I mean, might as well just kept it the football team. That was better, honestly. Weirdly, Washington football team was better than the Washington Commanders. That sounds like a Arena Football League or something team. It sounds like one of the USFL teams. In fact, some of the USFL teams have better names. I'd rather see the Washington Stallions or something, right? So you got the Commanders there with Carson Wentz as your starter now. I mean, what if Carson Wentz gets hurt or he sucks again or something? You have the guy that started last year, who was serviceable. What's his name from that owns the NCAA record for yards in a game. But I mean, like, the whole Baker hatred is pretty hilarious right now. I mean, you might have Kyler Murray not even playing this year because he's holding out. He wants his max deal contract. And you got to remember, too, Kyler Murray can go play baseball. He's an amazing baseball player. So he can go play baseball if he wanted. He could say, screw this. I'm done. I mean, he's not going to. But I mean, so, what happens if Kyler sits out? What are they going to roll with? Colt McCoy as their starter? I don't think so. So, maybe they go after a Baker for $1 million, $2 million and have Baker come in. I mean, the two of them are buddies anyways. I mean, I don't think they'd be buddies at that point. But, maybe some team like that. Maybe the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson blows out his ankle or his knee or breaks his back or something in a preseason game or in practice. Somebody's going to get injured, and Baker's going to end up somewhere. And then Baker's going to end up not being bad like you think. The thing is sure, is the Deshaun Watson thing, once all the bad stuff goes away and everything, maybe Deshaun Watson is a great player in 3 years or something. But they're not going to be good this year. And they're not going to be, and Baker's going to end up somewhere, and he's not going to be bad. He's going to be a top 15 quarterback. He's not, he's going to be better than Jared Goff. He's probably going to be better than Justin Fields. He's probably going to be better than Trey Lance. He's going to be better than a lot of these guys. I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Rodgers or something, but, he's going to end up somewhere, and he's going to end up being okay. So, this is just my talking about Baker, talking about all the hate Baker's been getting, and he's a whiner, he's a complainer. Again, you put your heart and soul into a city and you made the team good, and then they yanked the, rug right out under your feet and brought in an idiot guy with a whole bunch of charges, and they guaranteed him a big giant salary, and they gave up the farm. They're going to be crappy with Deshaun Watson, and good. I hope they suck. And I hope Baker ends up somewhere, and I hope he ends up being really good with somebody else. So that's my thoughts on Baker. You can like, subscribe, whatever. Leave your comments if you think Baker's going to end up being somewhere and being good. I think he is. So I've been buying Baker cards. I've always had a bunch of Baker cards. And I've been buying them up since people were just unloading them. Because I think he's going to end up being somewhere. I secretly hope he ends up being Tom Brady's backup and Tom Brady's heir apparent. There's a reason they were scrambling when they thought when they thought Trask was going to be their starter. So maybe he ends up somewhere. Maybe he ends up in New Orleans because, Jameis Winston, they know what they got in Jameis. He's not great. We all know. Just because he had one good half season in New Orleans doesn't mean he's some, amazing quarterback all of a sudden. So, let's see what happens. I hope Baker ends up well. And Like I said, like, subscribe, leave some comments. Thanks.